Hey there everyone, it's Jenna. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be decorating my living room space for the holiday season. And basically, if you're unfamiliar with my Decorate With Me videos, I walk you through my styling process step by step and explain my choices and give you designer tips so you can have your space looking very high-end and expensive, but I show you how you can do that in a very approachable and budget-friendly way. So I hope you guys enjoy it and get some fun inspiration for your own space this season. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so if you missed my holiday Decorate With Me last year, this is what our old living room ended up looking like. My Christmas decorating style is rustic and natural with a subtle pop of that classic burgundy color. So this is the new space we're working with, and this was my starting point after all of my fall decor had been cleared out and put away. And something I've always wanted to do when decorating for the holidays is have our Christmas tree be placed in a front window. I just think it looks so cozy when you can see the tree all lit up from the outside. So I decided to put our tree right in front of our window here, and I just moved the armchairs into our guest room for the time being. And I think covering the base of the tree makes a big difference when you have a faux tree. So whether that's a tree collar or a tree skirt, or in my case, this large hamper basket that I found at the thrift store, it can really help to elevate the look of your Christmas decorating. So in order to actually elevate the tree a little bit, I just used a decorative box and a piece of plywood so our tree would fit and be nice and sturdy in the hamper. And then it was time to assemble the tree, and this was a pre-lit 7.5-foot tree that I found on Amazon. And something to note is that I did use the base piece from another tree because the base that came with this tree was larger and actually wouldn't fit in my basket. But once it's all assembled and fluffed out, I think this tree looks super lifelike and has that real touch quality to it, which I love. So when I'm starting to decorate my tree, something that I always try to incorporate is ribbon. And ribbon is great for solidifying a color scheme and adding a touch of softness for not a ton of money. And I wanted to have more of that classic vintage feel to my decorating, so I just picked up this lace ribbon on Amazon, and I will link everything that I can below in the description box. But this just helps to add a subtle pop of texture, and it also helps to add some variety to the tree just to help break up all of the round ornaments that we'll be adding. I also like how the cream color of the lace contrasts against the dark green tree so that the bow shapes really stand out. So next I wanted to add a neutral base ornament that would break up the burgundy color that I was planning on adding. So I went with these simple gold ornaments that I found at HomeGoods. And I love decorating with gold and brass during the holidays because it really helps to infuse that feeling of warmth into my decor. So next for my statement ornament, I chose these stunning burgundy beaded ornaments that I found at Home for just a couple of dollars. And I love how they subtly glisten in the light and yet give off such a festive feel for the holidays, but they still appear really classic at the same time. And they add that subtle pop of color that I was looking for, and they also are a bit larger than your standard ornament, and that's great for size variation because that's another thing that really helps a tree to look professionally decorated is when you use different sizes of ornaments. It just helps things to feel a little bit more varied and makes the ornaments look and feel more collected. But after adding these smaller burgundy ornaments, I was really happy with how the tree looked. Nice and simple, but still colorful and festive. So the last thing that I wanted to do to finish it all off was just add a bow to the top of the tree. So if you all remember, last year I got a couple of yards of this chiffon burgundy fabric, and I just cut it into larger strips that were about 2 feet wide, and I used that as my table runner on our dining table. So this year I decided to reuse that same fabric, and I just tied it into a bow. And this was seriously so easy to do. I just laid it up there in between the branches at the top and fluffed it out, and that was it. This just really helps to finish off the look of the tree and gives it a super elegant feel, like it's something you would see in a hotel lobby, but in reality it was just some cheap scrap fabric that I tied into a bow. And because this looked so good, I had the idea to use the second strip of fabric from last year to decorate the basket of the tree. So I just used the tree branches to hold the top of the bow into place, and that was it. Super easy and effortless to do, but it really helps to enhance the look of the tree. So next I wanted to focus on this empty area
to the left and then add some stems and festive features to help the space feel more layered. So if you all remember last year, I made this gathered pot by our fireplace with some logs and holiday stems. So I figured I'd do something similar with this tall floor vase that's here. So I started by adding some old towels and bags to give my arrangement some height since this vase was so tall. And then I brought in those same birch logs from last year. I actually found mine at HomeGoods, but I know Anthropologie and Hobby Lobby both sell similar logs. And then I added in these faux pine stems, and these are from Hobby Lobby, but you could use any evergreen holiday stem. And honestly, I could have stopped here because this looks really good, but this year my goal was to incorporate some fall stems and florals for a really dynamic and unexpected look. So even just these fall stems in combination with the winter ones looks really good, but I wanted to take it one step further by adding some florals in there for some extra texture and just to add that pop of those mauvey and burgundy tones that I'm trying to work throughout the space this year. And I was so happy with my decision to do this because really I'm just using stems from other seasons that would have otherwise been sitting in storage, and I'm just rearranging them in a way that looks like it's its own winter floral arrangement, and it just helps to add so much depth and interest to my decorating. So typically I like to style in groups of 3s. I just feel like that number always looks really full but not overcrowded, and it balances out really well when you use items that all have different heights. So I just used this woven sleigh and I filled it with some faux Norfolk pine stems and gold ornaments for added warmth, and then I layered in a couple more of those fall and spring stems. And you really don't need a ton of extra stems. If you have a good base of holiday greenery, you only need 3 stems or so like I used here, but you know, it still looks really full and gathered. And then to finish out that group of 3, I just layered in this bowl of vintage inspired ornaments that I found for just a couple of dollars each, and this grouping really helps to give a more layered effect to our tree until we get some wrapped presents under there. But now that this side of the room is all decorated, I wanted to concentrate on the mantle. And because we have so much symmetry going on this wall, I wanted to break that up visually with an asymmetrical garland. And I've actually been doing this the past couple of years, and I really like how it turns out every time. So this year though, I wanted to add some actual structure to the garland instead of just draping it over the side and letting it hang there. So I used these command strips, and because the walls are textured in this house, I had to kind of get creative with where I put them, but these are going to help me be able to actually shape the garland and give it more of a curved structure. And this way it'll help to give the garland some fun movement and curves, which will also help to just break up those harsh 90-degree angles that we have going on this wall. So I decided to start with the first draped garland, and then I filled in with 3 more to give it a nice full look. And here's what the evergreen garland looked like, but again, I really wanted to add to this and make it more of a floral arrangement with those other seasonal stems. So I just took these birch stems that I found on Etsy a while back, and I used them to add some height and fullness to the garland. And here you can really get creative with the stems you use if you're doing something similar. It's easy to customize to your own color palette and style preference, and you can even go forage for stems out in your backyard or use dried florals. Just have fun with it, and when in doubt, it always helps to add layers. You usually can't go wrong by having a variety of colors, textures, and leaf shapes. And if you remember these berry stems from my holiday decor haul, my original plan was to use them in our Christmas tree, but I decided that they would actually be perfect to incorporate in the mantelscape just to add that pop of burgundy that I was looking for. So then to fill in the last few empty gaps, I used these stems that are actually the same greenery as the garland, both of which are super affordable and look very realistic. And another plus is that they aren't scratchy, so they won't damage any paint or anything on your mantle. But I'm so happy with how this came out. It is such a fun shape and looks like something you would find in a florist shop, but of course we need to finish it off with some twinkling fairy lights for that cozy winter ambiance. And I like to try to find lights that have a timer on them so you can set them to come on at sunset, so you get that magical glow every night without having to think about turning them on or off. And then to play off of the asymmetry, I wanted to hang our stockings on the more empty side of the mantle just to help balance everything out. And for me, I like to stick to simple chunky knit stockings because they're classic and they help to add a warm and cozy texture, and they're also just really simple, so it allows the garland and florals to shine and be the focal point of the mantelscape. But I did just want to add a little bit more interest and color to the stockings and tie them in with the rest of the mantelscape in a natural way. So I just took a couple extra burgundy stems and popped them inside to layer in that color and balance out all of the florals. And even if you don't incorporate florals into your garland, this could still be a really fun way to utilize some of your spring or fall stems and just pop them in your stockings. Next, I wanted to add some height, so I brought in some brass candlestick holders with some taper candles, and I thought this would be a good place to layer in a little piece of accent wall art. And I'd actually been noticing a lot of designer sites selling framed lyrics and sheet music, so I thought that this could be a super easy and cheap DIY to do at home. So I started with watercolor paper that I got from the craft store and some tea that I had on hand, and I just dipped the tea bag into some water and I rubbed that around on the paper. And the idea here is just to age it so that it looks like the old vintage sheet music with that warm yellowy tint to it. And I kind of did this in layers. I ended up doing about 3 coats to get my desired level of tint to the paper, and your tea bag will probably end up breaking while you're doing this, but that's okay because when everything dries, it's super easy to just wipe off. And I was really impressed with how authentic this looked and how easy it was to do. And you can do this with regular paper as well, but I just used watercolor paper because it dries flat and not super warped. But I did have to trim a little piece off of the end to fit it into my printer. And I printed out the sheet music for Silent Night on mine, but you could pick whatever holiday song you like, or you could even handwrite the lyrics to your favorite song. So I just popped it into a frame that I already had matted to an 8x10 opening, and I love how this turned out. It looks super old world and classic, and it's just a fresh take on holiday wall art with something unique and unexpected like sheet music. So after decorating the mantle, I wanted to move on to decorating my shelves. And when it comes to holiday shelf styling, my approach is to enhance what's already there rather than completely restyle everything. So I like to incorporate little styling pieces like figural candles that can accent larger things like my antique vases. Also, when I'm introducing a new color into my space for the season, like I am with burgundy in this case, I like to try to have majority of those little accent pieces fit in with that color scheme in some way, so that when you stand back, the space ties together really well and it all feels cohesive. And another little hack that I talked about in my Christmas decor ideas video is to simply tie a festive ribbon around decor that you already have, just to help change up the look for the holidays, but this keeps things really budget friendly and easy. And you can also fill decorative bowls and objects with ornaments or bowl filler. And another hack I utilize is using mini greenery pieces to pop in places like bowls, or you can tie them up in your bows to help soften things a bit. And mini trees are also a great way to enhance pre-existing decor as well. So now that we have the shelves all decorated for the holidays, I wanted to do something on our coffee table, but this is a smaller space and there's a lot going on, so I wanted to keep it simple, and I just took a wreath and I laid it on its side, and then I used these driftwood trees that I found at Home Goods, which are actually a dupe for the ones that they sell at Anthropologie. And this just keeps things feeling really simple and earthy, but still gives off a festive look. And then the last thing that I did was I layered in this chunky knit throw in that beautiful burgundy color, which is perfect paired with the green pillows that we already had for that Christmassy feel. And that is it, you guys. This is the space that we started with, and here is the cozy living room look we were able to create for the holidays. We utilized pieces made out of natural materials for that woodsy feel. We committed to a cohesive and consistent color scheme, and we layered in a few unique and unexpected accent pieces and arrangements with the florals. And we also used old decor in new, fresh ways for a magical feel this holiday season.
All right, everyone, that about wraps up this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this first holiday decorate with me of this season. There's a couple more to come, so be sure that you hit that notification bell and you're subscribed so you don't miss those videos when they go live. And also be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. It really does help to support my channel. And I just want to thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful start to your holiday season, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!